Hey everyone, and welcome to the campaign mode of Jurassic World Evolution 2. This one is going to be a little bit different. So we are not going to play this in real time, and we are also not going to start with the first level. We are going to start with the second level actually, and we are going to do this in a time lapse. Now, there are a couple of reasons why I chose to do this, and I'm going to explain them throughout this video. But first of all, I hope you guys are interested in that. If you want to see the first level, you will basically see that everywhere else today, I guess. And also, Frontier has played the first level themselves already on their channel, so potentially everyone who's interested in that game has seen the first level already, and it was more or less just a tutorial level in which you just, get the grip of controls and stuff. So it's not really that super exciting unless you play the game yourself, which you can do so next week. Here we start now with the second level, in which the story is kind of starting to unfold, and you can see there are some Carnotaurus roaming around in the wild, and you can see there is like a little hunter facility that is broken down. So the idea behind this area over here was that there were some hunters that were just getting after these dinosaurs and trying to sell them for the highest bidding person, obviously. But then you come into play now, and you kind of try to make sure that these animals are housed correctly, that you treat them with a medical treatment and stuff. And again, this is more or less, to get you into the basis of this game. And here is where I'm starting to be a little bit on the split at this point. I liked where the campaign is going, and I'm trying to tell this to you without spoiling too much of the later stage of the campaign. First of all, I think the campaign is not really that long. It's a lot shorter than in Jurassic World Evolution 1, which is mainly due to the fact that you have challenge and chaos mode, which has a lot more unlockables. This is also, by the way, why I chose to do it that way, simply because when the game got onto my computer with the early access, I wanted to unlock stuff as quickly as possible for the Sandbox mode, and I thought, remembering what Jurassic World Evolution 1 did, playing the campaign should unlock everything. However, this is not the case in this game. Basically, you really do not unlock anything related to Sandbox. You basically just unlock a couple of dinosaurs that are unlocked from the beginning anyways, and you unlock a couple of buildings. That's about it. You don't unlock skins, patterns, or whatsoever. The campaign this time really is focusing on being a little bit of a story mode, and also on focusing to give you the idea behind this game. You'll learn about the paleomedical facilities, you'll learn about treating the dinosaurs correctly, and you'll learn about their interaction with the real world environment. So it gives you a lot more new locations, going completely away from the tropical environment, and that's a little spoiler. You won't be playing on a tropical island in the entire campaign mode. You will, though, go over different areas located in the US and more. So this is definitely something I can tell you already, and I have a certain idea of where this is going, but this is something we are going to discuss in the third episode, which is the last one. So spoiler ahead, but you've seen that from the intro anyways. This is going to be a 3-episode series for the entire campaign mode. So this one over here is Washington State, and again, you have to rebuild this, previously hunter facility into a little outpost in which you can treat the carnivores in this area. The basic idea behind this was to get these carnivores out of this valley, to make sure that the herbivores can live here in harmony and peace, and this is why you only make some habitats for an Allosaurus, I think I remember correctly, and the 2 Carnosaurs. Carnotaurus there. I'm not really sure which one exactly that was, but you needed to make the habitat work for them. So as you have seen, I think that was the most straightforward way. Kind of created these 2 habitats for them, making sure that they have all what they needed, and then you also can treat them in the paleomedical facility, getting to know what the scientists do. And again, I think I talked about that already in today's Sandbox build. If you guys, are interested in that one, just check it out. It's on the channel already. But I'm not really sure what I should think about the scientists. I like the fact that you have to manage this a little bit more, but I don't really know. It just got a little bit too much micromanagement in my opinion, because there are like so many different things you always have to click. It would be more interesting if that could be automated after a while. Like, it's fine if you have it at the beginning, but later stages of the game, it would be really cool if you have a bit more of an optimization process to the stuff, especially just get them to rest automatically when when you don't need them, for example, but you have to manually always click that they go for a rest. Just to give you a bit of context, every scientist can only do so many tasks before they get a little bit frustrated and tired, and then you have to manually rest them. But sometimes you just don't use a scientist for a couple of minutes because either you don't need them or you'd use other ones, and then it would be nice if they would recover themselves because, you know, whatever. Anyways, already done, and you get some cool cinematics of the herbivores now roaming around in this wonderful valley in Washington State, you know, peacefully and nice without being hunted by the carnivores around here. So yeah, that's definitely something that is very much working nicely, and I like these lovely little cutscenes. And now we move on to Pennsylvania, and again, this is something I really want to mention very positively about this game now. I think the addition of so many different biomes and different locations makes the game feel a lot more, you know, thought out and a lot more bigger than just being stuck to somewhat the small area of these islands. So I really like this, and I really like that you have this airport over here. What I kind of dislike is that this is actually just a cosmetic airport that is a little bit located to the left-hand side of the space where you are building. I would have loved to see if that is at least a static prop that I have to build around, you know, that I can use the airport. But I can see it very nicely in this frame. The airport is located to the top left. You can use the capture mode to fly over and see these things, but in fact, it's just not really part of what you build. So that's a little bit of a pity, and I think it's definitely a missed opportunity here to integrate this airport into the actual build. I think that would have, you know, given us a bit more of a nice experience, but nevertheless, it just, you know, goes the way it goes. You are asked to build more habitats over here, and this time around I didn't make the mistake that I did previously. I already built a habitat before the dinosaurs arrived. I kind of did this a couple of times very wrong. I just completely just accepted that the animals are delivered, because I remember that in Jurassic World Evolution 1, you then get 2 minutes until they are delivered. But in this game, it's now you accept them and they're being delivered right away, which I think is great. But, you know, I just needed to learn that on the hard way. But yeah, what I did over here obviously is build a little facility to capture some of the animals of the environment, and this idea now is to study those animals. It's really meant to be researching these animals that live in the environment of this airport, and also to keep them away safely from the airport, to not go into connection or contact with people in here. What I'm doing over here, by the way, and this is a little trick that I actually recommend doing because of the new way of how habitats work. I build a path from these ranger outposts to the next one, simply to ensure that your ranger can use this as a street. The reason why this is important is because of all the boulders and the different types of foliage brushes you have. Some of them actually block the way for your staff. So that means that none of the vehicles can go through a forest or through some high bushes and stuff, which leads to sometimes a very problematic way of how the rangers go to one point to another, and it's getting super inefficient if they have to do very crazy routes to get to the outposts. And so by building the pathways, it really ensures that where the pathway is, you don't have trees, you don't have boulders, you don't have anything, because it's blocked, and then I can use this as a road. It worked out pretty well for me. It did ensure that they can make it quickly from one point to the other. So if you guys are playing this and having issues with that, I just recommend building this road there, and then you're actually you're safe in terms of your vehicles that can reach the points or not. You can see I did the same because I had this very issue I'm just talking about, and so I made this work. And yeah, there's really not that much to talk about. You can really see that I'm building almost like in a sandbox build, because money was not a real big deal here. I just changed some settings here and there just to make sure that I have a bit more of a grip to this. But yeah, I just built some things. At the beginning, I tried to make this look good, but since this is just like a research facility, there was no real reason for me to make it good. But I will carry that idea forward, and we will play the challenge mode also in the later stages in an extreme beautification challenge that I will set myself. So we will play the challenge mode by at the same time maintaining a beautification level that is beyond what you would do to make it efficient. So this is something I'm planning for the next coming weeks. But for now, you can see I'm just unlocking a couple of things, but it's a very reduced version of what you have later. You don't even have fossil research, you don't have the expedition maps at this point because you only use live capture, which is a new feature of this game in general. So you have animals located everywhere around the globe, and you can capture these animals in the environment close by you, and then you send your team to the event. They do capture them, and if you're lucky, they capture all of them or just, you know, some of them, and then you can bring them into your facility. It's kind of cool because that just changes the way how this incubation process and all of that is just going to work. You have a constant inflow of dinosaurs to expand what you build, and in this matter, it's also very much, for me actually, it was a lot more relieving to not always focus on the guest needs, but actually build a research facility and have a look at the dinosaurs and make their habitats well. For me personally, that was a very, very nice change of pace, and I think this is something that the campaign mode can only benefit from. And here's also me to talk about a little bit more now as we approach the end of this build, because there's really not that much to talk about. I built a facility with a lot of dinosaurs that are very happy at the end, which will then fulfill the needs that you needed to, you know, do the level. So let's quickly talk about what I think this campaign mode is doing and what it will do in the future as well. Now, I'm very much aware that this is meant to be following the route that Jurassic World Dominion will do. And you actually feel this the whole time, that it tries to go along with the new world that Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom started. And it's really giving you that vibe of, hey, they do live now in our world, and we are here to ensure that we don't get into conflict with them, but we do accept that they live here, which I think the game really delivers on. You get that feeling. Obviously, with the mechanics of the game, it's not a Planet Zoo, it's not Prehistoric Kingdom, it's not meant to be a fully fledged sandbox builder game. It is a management facility builder game in that sense, and I think this is working well with all the scientists and stuff. However, I also had the feeling that this is in the same way restrictive, because you can see that they don't want to spoil anything from the movie, so they don't really get the grip of what is going on. They have some teasers here and there in their voiceovers and the dialogues. Honestly, you can't really take out much of it. There will be something we discussed in the third episode. I definitely won't do now, because this is maybe the only big spoiler that this game has. But you have to stick with me, or someone else is telling you, I don't know. But we are talking about this at the very end and listening to what they actually talk about. But over here is really just giving you the establishment of what the new movie is about to tell us, I guess. And in that way, the story mode works. But yeah, so it's not as repetitive simply because you get these different tasks in different areas, so that's good. But it's also not like opening up a completely new world. So it's, you know, it's a very significant, but it's also like a very good and normal development of from the first part of the game, the first Jurassic World Evolution, to this one. And I think it just works out. And it works as a very nice tutorial for the entire game. So if you're new to this game, I really highly recommend to play campaign, because afterwards you will be ready to play the different other modes. That said, this is the end of today's episode. Please let me know how you like this format of time-lapse campaign, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and I talk to you in the next one. Stay safe, everyone, and goodbye.